Hi Raghuveer, good evening.
Right.
Right, let's start the class. So yesterday we started the introductory portion in Tableau server where we have discussed installation and uh, configuration of Tableau server. We have seen how we can do installation and configuration both in manual mode and also using AWS. Okay, so once this is done, so we can create some users and publish the content onto Tableau server. So here uh, Tableau server interface looks like this. So as I've told you yesterday, so it's a web browser interface. So there is a web browser medium through which we can uh, access Tableau server from anywhere in the world. Um, so a web browser, a Tableau server looks like this. So in today we will be going to discuss about user creation and publishing the content. So in Tableau server, if any user or a developer wants to access the Tableau server, then they must be added as a user to Tableau server. So if somebody wants to access the Tableau server, first and foremost, they need to be added to the Tableau server as a user. And who adds these users to the Tableau server? Only Tableau admins will be able to um, create users in the Tableau server. Only admins can create users in the Tableau server. So in Tableau server, users can be added or created in two ways. So one is using web browser, and other one is using tab CMD. So web browser using graphical user interface GUI and CUI code user interface using tab CMD. So we will look into tab CMD when we are discussing about the topic. So now we'll use GUI to create users. So in both the ways we can add a single or multiple users at a time. So in both the ways you can add single or multiple users at a time. Okay, so first of all, before using before creating a user, so we'll see what a site role is. So there are sites in Tableau server. So for example, if we can define a site role for users. So what is a site role? So it defines the capabilities of the users. So site roles actually define the capabilities of the users. From Tableau server 9.0, there are a total of 8 different rules which are available. So uh, there are the rules can be interactor, viewer, unlicensed, viewer, publisher, server admin, and a site admin. So these are the different site roles available for a user. Okay, so a user can be a interactor. A user can only be a viewer. A user can be a unlicensed user. Okay, a viewer can be a publisher also. So if a viewer is a if a user is a publisher, they can interact and publish the workbooks. So if a user is a user can only view the dashboards. If a user is an interactor, they can only interact with with the the dashboards. So coming back to publisher, they can interact and publish. Similarly, a server administrator can do all the things, and he sits on the top of the hierarchy. There is also site admin. Site admin does all the work of a server admin except the work of a server admin. So if we create a site, um, all the work uh, within the site can be administered by a site admin. Okay, we'll see how we can do that. Okay, so um, we'll see mm, some roles. So in test cases, uh, we'll will see some use test cases. So this is meant for checking the site roles in the Tableau server. So we'll see first the test cases of a mm, site administrator. Okay, so here as you can see, um, a user, this is the site role. Okay, so there are different site roles here. So what are the different site roles available? So in version 2018, uh, the site roles are different, slightly changed. Okay, so there are server administrator, site administrator, creator, and site administrator explorer who can publish it, explorer, read only, viewer, and unlicensed. These are the different site roles for the users. Okay, so here uh, so, in the admin site admin in um, the the here we have admin role. So in the admin role we have server administrator. So server administrators, right? So, in server administrator, so what are the different things that they can do? So a server administrator can create, publish. Okay, uh, so okay, server administrator can manage server and manage, create sites. So a server administrator can do all these things. They can create, they can publish, they can view, they can read, they can do all the works of a site administrator, and all all the roles that are available in the role. So if you see, creator, creator. So creator can view the dashboards, they can subscribe, they can web edit. So what is web edit? Web edit means once you publish the dashboard onto server, so you can edit from the server itself. So that is the capability here. So a creator can publish the views. That means you can save. Publishing means nothing but saving. So they can save the dashboards onto server. They can create data sources also. You can also create a data source from server. These are the different capabilities of a creator. So if you see the role of a site role of a explorer, so they can do all the things that creator can do except creating data sources. Similarly, explorer can do uh, all the things what a explorer can do except publishing views. Okay, explorer cannot publish a view. So viewer cannot web edit. They can only view and subscribe, or get the alerts. So a read only site role user can only view or interact with the workbooks. So an unlicensed user cannot do anything. They are just there to represent the number. They can't even view the dashboards. Okay, site administrator can manage all the things that are there in a site. So a server administrator can manage server and manage or create sites. So this is the top of the hierarchy where they can do whatever the site administrator or every other site roles can do. Okay, so you can see that there are different site roles. Okay, there are different site roles. So here, hmm, so somebody who has the uh, option of viewing or interacting with the workbook, sorry, so can interact with the content of the Tableau server. So it should be assigned only for the who users who are in need of the interactivity. Whoever need interactivity should be assigned this feature. Okay, so you're also seeing view only option. So viewers view only option allows the user to only view the content of the viewers. So read only option is the one option, site role option, which allows the users to only view the content of the Tableau server. So view only site role should be assigned only for the users who are in need of viewing content only. So who who should not be given the access to edit or access to publish should only have read only site role. Okay, right. So there is also unlicensed here. So unlicensed site role does not allow users to connect to the Tableau server. So unlicensed site role uh, does not allow users to connect to the Tableau server. So unlicensed site role should be assigned for those users who um, for whom we have to keep in an inactive mode for temporary time. Okay, so if you want to keep somebody in an inactive mode, and who for whom uh, where we want to make them active after some point of time. For example, we have 25 members in a team, and say three people have left the organization, so we don't want them to access the dashboards, so temporarily make them unlicensed. Okay, so till the time you don't want to give them access. So uh, in those cases you use the unlicensed site role for them. Okay, right. If in case at any point of time you want to give them license, you can change that site role to read only or create or any other site role. So publishing view is another option where this allows the users to interact and publish the content into the Tableau server. So publisher site role should be assigned for those users which are in need of publishing and interacting with the workbook. Okay, that means um, so these site roles should be given to somebody who has some responsibility or um, uh, some higher hierarchical role like a team leads who can or a SMEs who can actually take responsibility in publishing or creating in publishing the content after the dashboard is done. So after the dashboard development is done like this, so if somebody wants to show that to end user, so if you want to save that on if save this workbook onto Tableau server, so uh, for those people who have to do that, you have to give site role as a creator or a explorer, which has publish view option. Okay, so uh, a site administrator what so there is a option, site role of a site admin also. So what they can do is they can interact, they can publish, they can view, they can edit, they can add new users. Okay, so they can have the Tableau server access. They can also change site roles. These are the options, these are the things that they can do. So whereas site admin roles can interact, publish, Okay, so view, edit, uh, they can add new users. Okay, they can access the Tableau server and also change the site roles. So these are the all things that a server administrator can do. So server admin role allows the users to control the operations on complete server and also controls the site administrators. Okay, so you can change the site roles of existing users also. Okay, so only admin users will be able to change the site roles. So admin users are site administrator and a server administrator. So within the site only a site administrator can change the roles. So server administrator can change the roles on a server level, on a complete server level. So for that, we have to first log in as a admin user. So to change any site role, we have to first log in as a admin user. So first we need to add a user. Okay, so for adding a user, you have to click on the add user. So click on new user. So username can be anything. So user one. You assign a site role here as a read only. Create add users. So here a new user is created. You can change the role of a existing user as well. So click on the user and select the required user. Click on actions. So click on actions here and select the site role. In the site role, assign the required role and click on change site role. So from read only, change it to explorer can publish and click on change site role. Okay, so from read only, the site role has been changed to explorer. Okay, so these are the uh, options for changing the site roles of a user. So now in the second task, what we'll do is we will publish the content into the Tableau server. So we have to log in as a user having publishing capacity from desktop by clicking on server tab and click on sign in. Okay, so first we need to have a somebody who can you have to log into server as an user who can publish the workbook. So a server administrator can publish the workbook. So this is the workbook here. So first we need to sign in as a user who can publish the workbook. So first we need to give the server URL and give the login credentials. So we have been logged in as a logged in as admin, which is Kranti here. Okay, right. So now that we have logged in as a user who can um, uh, publish the dashboard onto server. Okay, so we have signed in into it. Now uh, we have to log in. Okay, so we have used the credentials to log in. Um, so and connected using username and password. Okay, so and then signed in. So to publish the content we have to click on the server tab. So this is the server tab here, and then click on publish workbook. Click on publish workbook. Okay, then there are two projects here. Projects are nothing but folders. Okay, so here in the, under content, you are able to see default and Tableau samples. Okay, so in Tableau samples, we have two uh, default Tableau dashboards. In default, we don't have any content. So here, once we save in any project here, they will be saved under those projects. So here we'll change save the dashboard onto default. So we'll rename this as summary and KPI dashboard. You can give any description here. Then click on show check the show sheets as tabs to show in the form of a tab. Then click on publish. So this will publish the dashboard onto the server like this. So go to the server, refresh this. Under default, earlier there were no dashboards. Now we have published the dashboard onto the view. So we are able to click on view, go to content, go to default folder, click on the dashboard and click on the view option. So you'll be able to view the dashboard on server. So from desktop, uh, from this is the desktop version. So from desktop, you are able to publish the content onto server like this. So in a few seconds, you are able to see. So you are able to see the dashboard on the server like this. Okay, so now this is how you can publish the content onto the Tableau server. Okay, so we have to note that at the time of publishing the workbook, we can publish all the sheets or the required sheets onto the workbook, onto the server view. Okay, so while publishing on the view, so you click publish workbook here. So here sheets can be published completely or selected sheets can also be published. So for example, there are two dashboards here. So you can opt to select two dashboards or only one dashboard. For example, if I say only summary dashboard, and then if I so there are two dashboards in the view. So if I opt to select only one dashboards, so out of two sheets, I've selected only one sheet. So I can publish this and overwrite on the view. And what will this will do is this will publish only one view. Okay, this will publish only one view. So I'm going back to the view. I'm going to the Tableau server. Click on Content tab and click on Default folder, default project, and select the required workbook and check the visualization. So how many views are there here? Only one view now. Okay, one view now. So similarly, you can publish two views also. You can select number of sheets which you want to show. Okay, so I'm publishing back two sheets where now you can see two sheets simultaneously. See, there are two sheets now. Content, default project, view, you're able to see two sheets. Okay, right. So this is how you can publish the content onto the view. So by default, all the workbooks will be published into the default project. So if you don't change any option while publishing, all the uh, all the all the views will be published onto the default project, and also all the workbooks also will be published into the default project while selecting. So if you don't change the options, so while publishing the content, so while selecting the publishing the content, so uh, if you keep default like this, so the project will be saved onto default project. So at the time of publishing, if we select show sheets as tabs, then Tableau will display all the sheets in the form of tabs. So we have show sheets as tabs here. So if you choose this option, what will this do is Tableau will uh, mm, display all the sheets in the form of tabs, like this. This is one tab, this is second tab. So the Tableau will perform in the form of show in the form of a tab. So at server level, if there are any actions, they will run only if we publish the workbook with show sheets as tabs. So if there are any actions, so this is a action. So we will discuss about actions, right? So uh, this is a filter action where you have to return onto the different dashboard like this. So if you want these actions to work, we have to publish the dashboard as with an option to show sheets as tabs. If we don't check this option, we cannot work with the actions. The only reason being they will not be shown in the form of tabs like this. So we cannot work on actions. So if you have actions, you have to click that option. Right. Um, at server level, we have seen that actions will only run if we publish the workbook with show sheets as tabs. So publishing means nothing but saving content into the Tableau server. Okay, publishing is nothing but saving the content into the Tableau server. Okay, so in our next task, we'll see how we can add multiple users at a time from a CSV file. Are you able to follow this, Ragvir? Any questions till now?
No, Kranti. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
good.
Okay. Right. So if you want to add multiple users at a time, so you can use a CSV file and add them at a go. So open a notepad. And then add different users. So click on click on file, click on save. Okay. Uh, okay. So enter the um, file name as users.csv. And save type as all files and encode as UTF-8. We click on save. Okay, so now you need to log in as a admin user to do this. So click on go to server, click on users, click on add users, and click on import from file. So click on browse. and select the CSV file. And click on import users. It will import the users in the CSV file to the server. Okay, at a go. So you're able to see user 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. So all are unlicensed here. Okay, so you can change the user roles also, your site roles also like this. So from unlicensed, you can make them as read only also. Okay, like this. Right. So note that it is the best approach if you have more number of users. Okay, and you have to add them at a go rather than adding individually. You can add more number of users at a go like this. So also note that from CSV file, if we add the same user for the second time, then Tableau will not add the repeating users. So the users should be unique. So the text of the users should be unique. So, so this is about adding users. So we'll see types of Tableau servers. So depending on the licensing cost, Tableau servers are divided into two types. So one is user-based Tableau server. So where there'll be restriction on the number of users uh, to be added onto Tableau server. The other one is core-based user servers, core-based Tableau server. So which means they will be depending upon the core. Okay, number of cores. Okay, user-based server provides limited user access depending on the number of users and licenses. Okay, so user-based server uh, actually is restricted to the number of users and the licenses you purchase. Okay, so note that if you take license for 10 users at a time, so we can add site roles to only these 10 users. So if we assign any site role for the 11th user, Tableau automatically assigns the site role as unlicensed for user-based servers. So it provides unlimited user access. At a time, we can assign site roles to um, for in the case of core-based server, what happens is um, uh, there it provides unlimited user access. But for user-based server, there is a limited access, limited number of user access. Um, it depends on the number of licenses you have. So that will be the restriction. If you purchase 10 licenses, you'll be able to access only 10 licenses for uh, user-based server. So there is a limited number of users. So however, in core-based server, so it provides unlimited user access. So at a time, we can assign site roles to n number of users. So for core-based server, the licensing cost will be very high. Okay, because there is a no restriction on the number of users you can add. Okay, so you have to note that to check the type of server Tableau server, click on the settings tab of the server and then click on the licenses tab. Click on the licenses tab. It will display server type, either user or a core based. Okay, so here we have 25 user licenses here. Okay, so 2 Explorer licenses, 0 uh, licenses for viewer. So unlicensed is 3. So we have a restriction on the number of users that can be added. Okay, so what is the type of user license is this? What is the type of a Tableau server license is this? It is a
It is user based.
Yeah, it is a user-based server Tableau server license. User-based server. So using this tab, you will be able to see uh, what type of a user license the Tableau server is.
If
So
it is other type, how we can differentiate?
so there will not be any restriction in this number of users. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, unlimited users can be added. So it will be defining the course. Okay.
Number
Number
of ports.
number of course.
Okay.
Okay. Mm. So for clustering, you will be using cores wherein will combine all the primary and server client based what is it, networking. So for that high-end users, where when we work on big data, we'll be using core-based servers. Okay. So we also can remove the unwanted users. So uh, even for doing that, we have to log in as a admin user. So we'll select the unwanted users and click on actions, and then you can select remove. So we can go to users. So we can select the unwanted users also. We have to select the unwanted users like this. We click on actions here, and then select remove. So we can click on remove. So we can remove the users as well, like this. Okay. Right. So this is about adding users and then publishing the content onto the server. So now we'll see the next scenario of projects and groups, adding projects and adding groups. So what is a project here? What is a project here? Project is a collection of content in the Tableau server. Project is a collection of content in the Tableau server. So projects are very useful to store the required information under one area. Okay, so these are very useful to store the required information under one area. So we'll perform one task where we will be creating a project in Tableau server. Only Tableau admins can create the projects. Okay, so Tableau admins can only create a projects. Okay, so we have to first log in as a Tableau administrator. Okay, so as you can see, Kranti, the site role is a server administrator. So admin can uh, create a project. Okay, so first we need to see that the site role that we are logged in is of a admin role, admin site role, be it a server or a site admin. So first we need to click on the content tab and then click on new project. So enter the project name. Enter the project name. Then click and click on create. You can write some description here also, and then click on create. So project will get created in the content tab like this. So we have a new project created under the content tab. So we'll perform a next task to publish the workbook into the required project. So first we have to log in as user who is having publishing capability. Okay, a server admin can publish the um, publish the um, publish the workbook onto the view. Similarly, an explorer can publish the workbook onto the view. Read only and unlicensed cannot publish the um, publish the workbook onto the view. So um, I'll sign out as an admin and log in as a user. So here, um, as you can see, an administrator is having content tab and all the different tabs. However, a user can only publish the view, so he will have a restricted access to only uh, the the view that they can see, views that they can see. So a user can only publish the content. So we'll see how we can do that. So the site role of a user is a as a publisher also. Okay, so so we have to first log in as a user who is having the publishing capability. So user one, this is the user one. So user one has the capability to publish. Okay, so we'll click on the server tab. So we'll open and okay, so now we'll use this dashboard, and then click on the server tab here in the Tableau desktop, and click on publish workbook. In publish workbook window, we have to select the required project. Okay, so the project here is KPI dashboards. So here we only want to publish KPI dashboard here. So we'll remove summary, and the sheet that we want to publish is only KPI dashboard. Okay. Now, and we'll select the required sheets. Okay, and then click on publish, and then click on publish here. Okay. Now go back to the view, content, KPI dashboards. So now click on the view. Under KPI dashboards projects, click on view. So you will be able to see that particular dashboard onto the view like this. Okay, this is how you can publish the workbook onto the required project. While publishing, we need to change the, while publishing, we need to change the uh, project from default to whatever dashboard, whatever project that you want it to be saved under. Okay, right. So we have to note here that the projects are the great way to organize a large amount of workbooks. Okay, if you have a lot of workbooks that you want to manage, projects are a great way to organize those, um, so that you can refer back to them at any point of time and segregate them as per the business requirements. So these are the great way to organize the large amount of workbooks. Okay. Okay, so we'll perform some test cases. Okay, so the first test case is, can two projects contain same workbook with the same name? Okay, so we'll try to see uh, if two two projects contain same workbook with the same name. So the result would be yes, it is possible, as two projects are different. Okay, so the thing is here, as you can see, this is a separate project, and this is a separate, default is a separate project, KPI dashboard is a separate project. So here, um, we can publish same workbook with the same name under two projects. So what we'll do is, so now we'll publish this workbook rather than, so under this under KPI dashboards itself. So we'll use the same name. What was the name that we used before? Summary and KPI dashboards. So this was the name that we have used to publish this workbook earlier under project called default. So we'll use the same name and publish under KPI dashboards. So, and select all the sheets. Click on publish. Can we publish? Yes, we can do that. Okay, so multiple two projects can have a dashboard with the same name. Okay, so that two projects can have dashboards with the same name. So default has the dashboard called summary and KPI dashboard. Similarly, KPI dashboards can have a dashboard called summary and KPI dashboards with the same name. Okay, so this is how we can have the uh, dashboards under two projects having the same name. This is test case 1. So the test case 2 is it possible to publish workbook for second time with the same name but with different sheets? Okay, so we'll confine now to with this only um, single project, so which is default. So we're now in this second test case, we'll check if it is possible to publish workbook for second time. So this is a workbook, we want to publish it for the second time. Okay, with the same name but with the different sheets. So what are the sheets here? uh, there is only one sheet. Oh, sorry, there are two sheets here. Okay, so summary and KPI dashboard. So mm, if we, is it possible to publish, will now we have to check if it is possible to publish the workbook for the second time with the same name but with the different sheets. So rather than, so the we'll use the, okay, we'll select default as the project and use the same name which we used earlier to publish the view. And now they will use a different sheet rather than two sheets, we'll select only one sheet. Or what we'll do is, before even publishing, we'll actually remove, unhide this sheet, okay, and we'll publish only this worksheet onto the view rather than others. Okay, so we are changing slightly. Okay, now we will publish the workbook under default project on the same name, with the same name. The sheet that we'll select is only sales by location rather than summary and KPI. Okay, so the question we were asking is it possible to publish the workbook for the second time with the same name, uh, but with the different sheets? So different sheet is sales by location. So we'll publish this. So what is the result? Tableau will override the existing sheets with the newly created sheets. Okay. So a workbook named summary and dashboard is already in use. Overwrite it. It is asking if you want to overwrite it or not. Yes or no. Okay, names already in use. So what is the result? Is it possible to publish workbook for second time with the same name but with different sheets? What is the result? Tableau will override the existing sheets with the newly created sheets. So if you create yes, click yes here, what will it do? It will overwrite. So see the view. So we are now only able to see sales by location onto the view. Okay, so we are able to see only different view, which is sales by location here. So what is the solution for doing not having this? At the time of publishing, we have to select old plus new sheets in Tableau desktop. Okay, so now what we can do is, rather than publishing like this, so while publishing, we have to select the default project same name, and along with the old views, we have to select the new view. So what will it do? It will, rather than replacing, it will add. So it will add, ask for a prompt. But in this view, what we'll have is, we'll have old plus new views like this. So we have two old views and a new view like this. Okay, we have to select old plus new sheets while publishing. Okay, so that is one test case. So in the next test case, so we'll check if it is possible to move the workbook from one project to another project. Okay, so the result here will be, it is possible to move if target project is not having workbook with the same name. Okay, so if we have the workbook with the same name, it is not possible to move. However, if the target project is not having the same name, we can move it. So this is a content. So default workbook. So I can click on, select the workbook and click on move. From default, we can move that to KPI dashboards. So what is the only condition here? That KPI dashboards project should not have summary and KPI dashboards, um, a dashboard which is having the same name called summary and KPI dashboards. Okay, so what is the option error that we are getting? One workbook could not be moved to project called KPI dashboards. Click on details. A workbook with the same name already exists in this project. So if we have the same a workbook with the same name in the other project, we cannot move the move the workbook into another project. So we'll see the vice versa. That means we'll go to content again. We'll go to Tableau samples. Here we have regional as a workbook. So we'll check the workbook. We'll click on move and uh, move this to default. Click on move. Are we able to move that? Yes. One workbook moved to project default. That means project default doesn't have a workbook have on the name of uh, regional. Okay, that's why we'll go to content. We'll check it default, and now we have the workbook called regional here because we were not having a workbook called on the name of regional. Okay, so if you don't have a workbook with the same name, we can move that workbook onto the different projects. Okay, so that is the third test case that we want to check. And what is the result? It is possible if the target project is not having workbook with the same name. Right. We'll perform a next task. So next task is to move the workbook from one project to another project. So for that we have to log in to the Tableau server, click on the content, okay, and then click on the workbook. Click on the workbook. Right. So select the required workbook and click on action. And click on action and click on move. Select the required project and click on move. So I'll be moving back to the Tableau samples and click on move. It will move to the respective project. So you have to note here that when we move a workbook from the source project to the target project, that workbook won't be available in the source project. So it is completely moving from one project to other project. So we will not have any workbook in the source project when we move it. Okay, so if you publish the same workbook for the second time, Tableau will override the existing content in the server with the new content from workbook. So whatever new content is there in the workbook, if you overwrite it, so it will be replaced. Okay, right. So we'll move to the next task. So uh, next task is to delete a project. Okay, so we have to note here that only admins can delete the projects. Only admins can delete the project. So if you delete any project, the complete content will be deleted permanently. Permanently. So you cannot retrieve back any information. So while before deleting any project, you have to take a backup of all the dashboards and the data and also the data sources. So you have to be very careful in doing that. So first we have to log in as an admin user, click on the content and click on the projects. Okay, click on any projects that you want to delete. Here KPI dashboards. Okay, select the required project and click on actions and click on delete here. In the confirmation window, you have to click on delete. So it will automatically remove the complete content of the project. You have to click on yes, delete the project. So it is saying the action is not undoable. So that means it is permanently deleting the content. Okay, so it is deleted like this. So it removes the complete content of the project like this. You have to note here that it is possible to delete any project except default project. Try to delete default project actions. You will not be able to delete a default project. Okay. However, you can delete any other project. Okay, except default project. Any other project can be deleted. Right. However, it is not possible to directly delete a default project, but if you want to delete any workbooks, you can go under default and then check on those projects, select those projects, and then delete the dashboards. Okay, so default can be a can be having empty dashboards. That means zero dashboards also. So you can delete the dashboards by going under default, but however you cannot delete the project as such. Okay, project of default will be staying like that. Okay, right. But you can delete the content within the default project. You're right. So we have to note that from Tableau server 10.5, it is possible to create one project inside the another project, which is known as nested project. So we can create project inside a project. Okay, so this is known as a nested project. So in the next task, we'll create a nested project in Tableau server. So first do we have to log in as a admin user to do this. Okay, so we have to click on the content and click on projects. Okay, so click on the project that you want. Okay, so click on projects. So here uh, click on the new project and then enter on new project and then enter project name. Okay, here um, say default 2. Okay, so this is a project name. So in description say it contains complete content of project project say project 3. Okay, project 3 is the um, client you are working on, or 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 any number. Okay, so click on that. So now a default 2 is a new project that has been created. And finally, by clicking on create, so you will be creating the projects. So in the list of projects, so select default 2 and again click on projects and again click on new projects, and here select project 5 and write some description and click on create. Okay, so now okay, sorry, so that should have been done after logging onto the after going into the uh, project like this. So we have to, so can move the project. Yes, under project. So refresh this, go to content. So we have default to. So under this we have project to. So this is called as nested projects. Okay. So this is how you can create projects. So the next thing that we want to discuss is grouping, creating different groups in Tableau. Okay, um, so group is a collection of multiple users in Tableau server. So group is a collection of multiple users in Tableau server. So group is very useful to organize very large number of users effectively. So group is used to combine multiple users. Okay, so in our task now, so we'll try to create a group in Tableau server. So first we have to log in as a admin user to do this. Okay, so we'll click on groups tab. We'll click on groups tab and click on new group. Click on new group. So there will be a default group which is all users, so which has the listed users in this group. Okay, so we'll click on new group. So enter the group name as test group.
So even server administrator also belongs to all users group by default.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
he is also a part of the all users group. Yeah, in this is a new group created now. So by clicking on create, so to add the users to the group, we have to click on users, select the required users, and click on action, and click on group membership. Select the required group and click on save. So go to group, go to test group. So we'll have user 123 in test group. Okay. So note that one user can exist in multiple groups. Okay. So create one more group. Say project 7 group is the name of the group. So here user 1 and user 3 are also part of this group. Group membership also part of group 7 project 7 group. That means go to project 7 group. So user 1 and user 3 are there. So basically one user can exist in multiple groups like this. User 1 is existing in group 7 and also test group. User 3 is existing in project 7 group and also test group. Okay, is also existing in test group. Okay, user 1 and user 3 are existing in both the groups. So one user can exist in multiple groups. So we'll go to the next task. So the next task is to remove an user from the group. So we have to log in as an admin user. So select the required user and click on remove. Say we have to select the user. Okay, go to action, click on remove. So you can remove your user from the group like this. It removes the user from the group. We have to note that it is not possible to remove any user from all groups. So go to all groups, We cannot remove any user. Can we remove? No, cannot remove. Cannot remove any user from the group. So from all groups, remember that we cannot remove any user. Okay, right. So the next task is to removing or deleting the group. So only a admin can delete the group, not any other user. If you log in as somebody who has the privileges to access or view or interact the group, they cannot. So earlier we have used user one access, login access. So if you do that, we cannot remove the groups. Okay, right. So you have to log in as a admin to delete the group. So first log in as a admin user, click on groups, select the required group, click on actions, and click on delete. So administrator can delete the groups like this, right? So if you delete a group, then Tableau server will delete only the group from the server, but not the users. Okay, so the users will stay the same. Okay, users 1, 2, 3, 4 are remaining, right? So if you delete any group, you have to note that only the group will be deleted, not the users. So also note that groups are very useful if you want to apply the permissions on the set of users. So the application of groups are, say, if you want to apply some permissions, okay, uh, okay. So if, say, for example, if you want to apply a permissions of for a publishing rights. So say in your team you have 100 people, 25 people are QA team people, um, 30 are developers. So for only QA persons, so for 25 people who are in QA team, so add all those users by adding them in a list, and then first adding them as a users onto server in the first place. So again, add all those QA team members as a QA group. So name it as a QA group. Okay. So then assign the permissions to only view only. So the site roles of all the users should be view only. So rather than assigning each permission singly, assign the permission on group. So all the group permissions will be inherited by the users in the group. So if you want to assign any permission for a set of users or a list of users, so groups will be very useful in that scenario. Okay, you have to note that it is not possible to delete all users group, which is a default group. Okay, all users group cannot be deleted. So if you delete an user, then that user won't exist in that group. Okay, so right, if you delete any user, that will he will not be existing in that group. So this is about creating groups. So we'll take a quick break of a couple of minutes and then come back again, and we'll try to create sites. So there are no sites here, so because we have not created any site here, so we'll see how we can create a site and how these tabs will be affected by creating a site. Okay, we'll come back again after a couple of minutes.
Okay.
Right, welcome back. Are you in, Raghuveer? Raghuveer, are you there? I request you to confirm. Hello. So yeah, sites. So sites are used to configure multi-tenancy environment in Tableau server. So what is multi-tenancy environment? So multi-tenancy environment means maintaining multiple instances or environment in a single installation of Tableau server. Okay, so and also each and every environment will be independent and isolate itself with the remaining environments. So it means content in one site will not be visible to the content in the other site. So that means within a single instance, so this is single installation of a Tableau server. So within single installation we can create multiple sites. That means, so if you want to keep different sites independent of each other, so we can create such sites. So site is a subpart of a Tableau server. Site is a subpart of the Tableau server. Tableau server is a one which sits on top of the hierarchy. So on below that, so there is a site. So we'll see how we can create sites and what will be the what will be the hierarchies. So to know the concept of site, so first we'll see how we can do that. So imagine that this is a developer. Okay, so a developer creates a dashboard using desktop, and then um, he publishes it onto the server. Tableau server. Publish to server. Okay, so um, once the uh, dashboard is published onto server, mm, we want different dashboards. So say there are different multiple dashboards using desktop. So we are creating multiple dashboards. So each dashboard is related to say for example each department in an organization. Say one type of workbooks are related to HR. So other type of workbooks are related to finance, and the third type of workbooks are related to IT. So these are the three departments in an organization, and you want each to be separate. So you don't want HR people to look into finance. You don't want finance people to look into IT. You don't want IT people to look into HR dashboards. So you want all of them separately. So these are these are HR. So these are the departments are HR, finance, and IT. So we can create different sites for the same purpose. Site 1 for HR, site 2 for finance, site 3 for IT. So you can also um, have different projects under different sites. say these are quarter 1, quarter 2 and quarter 3 projects for HR. Similarly, this quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3 projects for finance. And there's also quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3 projects for IT. So these are different projects. So this is project 1, this is project 2, this is project 3. Similarly, under finance, this is project 1, this is project 2, this is project 3. Similarly, for IT, we have project 1, project 2, and project 3. So these are all the projects for quarter 1, quarter 1 and quarter 1. Similarly, for quarter 2, quarter 2 and quarter 2. Similarly, projects for quarter 3, and quarter 3. So these are the, so this is the overall view where you'll be able to get a top line understanding of where the sites sit. So this is the purpose of creating a site. So first we'll see we'll through a task to create different sites. So only server admins can create new sites and modify existing sites. So that is a prerequisite. So login as a server administrator. So not even a site admin, only server admins can create a site. Okay, login as a server administrator. So again, this is a server administrator. So and click on settings tab. So settings tabs will only be for server administrator, not for site or any other users. Okay, so click on add a site. Enter the site name. Click on this add a site. Enter the site name here. Say HR. Okay, so also site ID can be any ID. Site ID can be any ID like 1, 2, 3, and also um, storage limit can be specified here. So you can specify the storage limit. So storage limit can be the limit of the server, or you can specify the limit also. You can specify like 5 GB of storage limit here. Also, um, you can also um, see how we can manage the users. Okay, so here um, in managing users, what we'll do is um, it is telling who is allowed to add and remove users, server and site administrator or only site administrator. So under this site, so once the site is created, so we have to specify if a site administrator can also add or remove the users, or is it only the server administrator who can do that. So we have to first specify or manage the users. So here also you can either keep the server limit as complete server limit, or you can specify the number of users, okay, that you can create. So here the number of users can be here you can say 15 here. Okay, so you can also specify the number of users that you can create here. Okay, so uh, you can define number of such things. So we'll look into each and everything in detail. So first, like this we can create a site here. Okay, so we have, so under manage users also we can do this. So we'll first click on create here. So remember, just see the difference. So once you've clicked on create sites, so a sites tab has been created and all sites has also been created. Okay, so what did happen? So earlier we used to have users, schedules, tasks, status, settings, and also content. So here the content is not appearing here. So rather than that, sites are appearing and also all sites are there. Okay, so uh, click on all sites and also manage all sites. Okay, so now um, you'll be you'll be able to see uh, the Tableau displaying all the sites, the default and HR. So these are the different cells. Go to default and you will be able to see all the uh, uh, s- um, all the default and Tableau projects that have been created. So the content is appearing under default site here. Okay, so the content tab will not be visible directly once the sites are created. Okay, so as you can see, only sites tabs will be appearing like this. So go into HR. Okay, so you'll be able to see content for HR also like this. Okay, so in HR site, no users are created, no groups are created. So as I've told you, so this is the content would be independent of each site. So HR content would be independent of a finance content. So that's why if you want to create um, uh, any multi-tenancy environment or multi-instances environment within a single instance of Tableau server, we will create sites. Okay, so this is the purpose of creating sites. So to check any info, particular site info, click on the site and check what are the contents under it. Okay, like this. So you have to note that site admin can control or manage the site, but cannot change the settings of the site. Okay, so I've created a site by logging in into as a server administrator. Okay, so as you can see, the users under default. So Kranti is a server administrator. So as a server administrator, we can create a site. So however, if somebody is a site administrator, say user one is a site administrator, change the role to site administrator. Okay, site administrator explorer. So if somebody is a user one is a site administrator, so they can only control or manage the site. So default is the site here. So user one can only, who is a site administrator, can only control or manage the site, but he cannot change the settings of the site. He cannot change the settings of the site. Okay, only a server administrator, who is Kranti, can change the settings of the site. So you can go to the settings, okay, and then change the settings of the site like this. Okay, so we'll discuss each of all the settings, but the thing to remember here is only a server administrator can change the settings, not a site admin. Right. After creating the site, server will be divided into two tabs: manage all sites. Okay, manage all sites. Okay, and site tab, and also site tab. Okay, and also site tabs like this. You have to note that all users in all sites, users in all sites. Okay, in server tab indicates complete users in the servers. Okay, so these are all the complete users in the servers. So users in all sites, they are all the complete users in the servers, whereas users in site tab. So if you go to site tab and if you select users, so these, and you will go to specific users, so these will be users only pertaining to that site. So select one more site, and the users will be pertaining to that site only. So no users are added in this, so you don't see any users. Right. So also note that after creating sites, content and groups tabs are available only in the site tab. So even groups and contents, so these will be available only within the site tabs. So so groups and content will not be visible on the top layer tabs. So you have to log in, you have to go into relevant sites to see content and groups. So if a user is existing in one site, then it is not possible to create a new user with the same name in another site, because usernames are common to server. Okay. So if you want to add a user in one site and add a same user to other site, we cannot add him. The reason is, if you add a server, if you add a user, the username that you add are common to the server. So on a complete server level, so server is the top layer, and sites are different tenants within that top layer. Okay, if you add any user, so user will be added on a server level, that is on a top level. So if you add one more user with the same name, you will not be able to do that, because users are always added onto the server level. Okay, so um, if in any scenario, if a user is existing in one site with one name, and it is not possible to create the same user with the same name in another site. The reason being, usernames are common to the server. Okay, you cannot have duplicates. Right. Also note that user licenses in Tableau server are not specific to single site, they belong to the complete server. Okay, so if you have multiple sites, so each site will not have separate license. So only the complete server will have single license. Okay, so that is the point to note. So that means taking one license, we can have multiple sites within a single server. So we can create multiple tenant environment within a single server. So while also note that while creating the site name, site ID should be unique. So while you are creating any site, okay, so the site name and uh, okay, so if you are creating any new site, the site name and site ID should be unique. So they should not be resembling with the already existing sites. So they should be unique. So from the second time, if you want to create a site, then click on the all sites. So if you want to create a second time, so if you are logging in, if you are looking into any sites like this, so if you want to create any site, so go to all sites, and then um, and then click on sites option. Click on sites option like this. Click on add new site to create a new site. Right. So we'll now see using a task to publish content into required site. So how to publish a content into required site, we'll see that. Okay, so open the required workbook. Okay, um, in the desktop, and then click on server. Click on sign in. Okay, it's already signed in, and select the required site. So while publishing this, so sign into another site. So rather than default, select the HR site. Okay. Earlier we are not having that option. Now because we have created one more site, we can choose to see the server is logged into server administrator Kranti, and also um, it is publishing to HR site. Okay, so click on publish workbook. Okay, only default project is there in HR site now. Okay, we'll keep the same different name. Okay, so can have the same name under different workbooks, different sites also. Okay, um, right, publish it. Right, where did it publish? It got published under HR site. Got published under HR site like this. Okay, so earlier HR site was not having any workbooks. Now it has this workbook. Right, so go, go to default, and then again come back to the required site and check by going into the particular project. So check whether the workbook is published or not. Yes, it is published. Okay, so here the content in one site will not be visible to the other sites. Okay, so the content in one of the sites, so whatever you published in one site will not be visible to the other site content. Okay, so also note that in a single instance of a Tableau server, if you want to maintain multiple project environments like QA, development, or production, that we can achieve that using sites. Similarly, uh, rather than HR, finance, and IT, we can also create multiple tenant environments like QA site, development site, and production site. So by doing so, we can keep de- um, uh, all the workbooks under development site, all the workbooks under QA in QA site, and all the final workbooks uh, can be uh, can be published under production site. So we can create prod, dev, and QA sites, and we can maintain the difference. So production site will have only the final workbooks which a client can access. So we can give only access to prod site to the client, so no changes will be made. However, development and QA sites will have changes in the uh, dashboards, because we will keep on changing and developing the dashboards. So note that one user can exist in multiple sites with different site roles. Okay, so um, because each and every site is independent and isolated to remaining sites. So one user can exist in multiple sites with different site roles. So for example, in default, user one can have a site role of a administrator, and the same user one can have a site role of a only publisher in other site called HR here. So one user can exist in multiple sites with different site roles, because each and every site is independent and isolated in two remaining sites. Okay, right. So also note that only server administrator can add users to multiple sites. Okay, so if you want to add users to multiple sites, only a server administrator can do that. Only server administrator can access the all sites tab option. So even this all sites tab option can be accessed only by a server administrator. Okay, so we'll perform one task to add a user to the multiple sites. So we have to log in as a server administrator user first. Okay, so click on all sites in server tab and click on users. Okay, select the required user. Say user 1, say user 3, and click on actions and click on site membership. In site membership window, select the required sites and select roles. So in default, he's an unlicensed site role. So in HR, you can assign him as an explorer can publish. Save. Okay, so the same user is having different site roles in different sites. Okay, so note that if one user is existing with the multiple site roles across multiple sites, then Tableau will count only the highest site role but not all site roles. So what is the highest site role for user 3? Can publish. So can publish is the highest site role. Explorer can publish the highest site role um, for a user in the site called HR. So that's why even for all users, it is taking it as Explorer can publish. So if one user in default, it is having site role as user 3 is having the site role as unlicensed. However, in HR, it is having the user 3 is having the site role as Explorer. So if you go to all sites, so the user 3 will have the site role as a explorer only. So that means if one user is existing with multiple site roles across multiple sites, then Tableau will count only the highest site role but not all site roles. Okay, so explorer can publish is the highest site role when compared to unlicensed. That's why it is taking um, explorer. Okay, so the highest site role is a topmost is server, then site, then explorer. Okay, um, so the highest site role is the server admin, then site admin, then creator, then explorer can publish. So hierarchy is like this: explorer, viewer, read only, and unlicensed. The lowest level is unlicensed, followed by read only. The highest level is server administrator. Below that is site administrator. So this is the hierarchy. So that's why in all sites, so for user 3, it is taking explorer can publish because it is it is greater level in hierarchy when compared to unpublished, unlicensed, right? So in Tableau server, groups can be created only on the sites page. So in sites pages only, so you can create groups. Now once the sites are created, the groups can be created only on the sites, relevant site pages now. Okay, so in the task in the next task, we will change the settings of the site. So now we will change the settings of the site now. So only a server admin user can do this. Okay, only a uh, server admin can change the settings of the site as well as the server. Okay, so log in as a server admin and user, and to change the settings of the site, click on the site tab. First select the site. Okay, so select the site. So default is the site, and then click on the settings. Okay, and modify the required settings or select all tabs. Okay, or select all tabs here. Okay, all sites here. Tab and then select the required site here, and then perform required changes. Okay, so you can perform the required changes. Right, and we have to note that we can change the complete settings of any site except the default site. Okay, so up to Tableau version 9. So we can change the complete settings of any site except the default site from up to Tableau 9. For the default site, we can change anything, uh, but not site ID or availability. Okay. Um, okay. So for a default site, uh, the site ID or availability cannot be changed. Okay. We can change everything except the site ID. So we'll select HR now. So we'll go to settings. So here we can change the site ID as well. However, in the case of default, we cannot change the site ID. So we don't have the option to change the site ID here. Right. Right. So so we can maintain Tableau sites in two modes. So one is active mode, which will be accessed by all the users, and other one is suspended mode. Okay. So where users cannot access the sites. So we can maintain Tableau sites in two modes: active mode and suspended mode. Okay. We'll go to HR site and see that. Okay. Uh, the availability is active mode and the suspended mode. Okay. So for default, we cannot even change the availability also. We cannot change the site ID and we cannot change the availability. For all the rest of the sites, we can change that. Okay, so we can maintain Tableau sites in two modes: active mode. So the site is, if you select the active mode, okay, so the site is available to all the users to access. So if you make it suspended, so the site is unavailable to users. That means, so if for a temporary period of time you don't want anybody to see the dashboards in particular department or particular process, so you make it as a suspended one and save it. So nobody will be able to see the content in that particular site. So if you want to make them active, so click on active and then click on save. Right. This is the availability. So now in next task, we will change the availability of the users. So only server administrator can be able to change the availability of the users. We have to log in as a server admin user. Click on the server tab and also uh, click on sites. So select the required sites, click on action and select the active or suspend. So you have to click on the active or suspend like this. So click on settings sites tabs by selecting the site, relevant site, and also you have to go to settings under general, either click on active or suspended like this. So note that it is not possible to suspend the default site. So if you go to default site, it is not possible to suspend it. So availability is not even there here, active and suspended. So you cannot suspend the default site. The second way to modify the settings of the site is click on all sites. In server tab, so click on site options, select the required site, click on actions, and click on edit settings. This is also one of the options to edit all the settings here. This is a one more second way. So in our next class, we'll see how we can delete a site. Okay, so only server administrator again can delete a site. Okay, I have to log in as a server admin to do this. So click on the manage all sites. Click on the sites tab. and then select the required site. So select the required site here, HR, and then click on actions and click on delete. By deleting it, you can delete the site also. So it is not possible to delete the default site. So try to delete the default site, you will not be able to delete it. So delete is not highlighted here. So you cannot delete a default site. Only server admin can access setting tabs in the site. So only a server administrator can um, access the settings tabs in the site of the sites. So we have to note that. Also note that once if we delete any site, then complete content of the site will be removed permanently. So you have to be very careful before deleting any site. So once we delete it, it will be deleted permanently. All the content of the site will be deleted completely and permanently. Okay, so we have version controlling here called revision history. Okay, here it allows the users to store the older copies of the same workbook. Okay, so revisions in under revision history. So revisions are the versions of the workbooks and data sources previously published to the server. So it will save the history of revisions. So you can choose to save unlimited number of revisions or last 5 revisions to save the space in Tableau server. So that means, so the last 5 revised workbooks will be available. So you can you use the version controlling to actually uh, retrieve back last 5 revised workbooks. For example, there were requests from the client to change a few things in the report. So you change that and then publish that back again. So if you want to retrieve and then the client comes back again and says that he doesn't want the latest revisions to be implemented and he wants to roll back to the previous version. So um, for that you can revert the previous version by using this option called revision history. So you can specify the number of revisions that you want. So if you want 5, you can keep 5 revisions, or you can keep last 10 revisions also, but it will take this same amount of space, 10 times the space also. So it is always optimal to use less number of revisions here. Okay, so that the space that you use is optimized. Revision history. So revision history maintains the multiple older copies of the workbook if you publish the same workbook with same name for multiple times. So this feature is also known as the version controlling. So it is a new feature from Tableau server from 9.3 version. Okay, so you have to note here that revision history limit here, revision history limit clear limit. Okay, clearing the revision history are the new features from Tableau 10, from Tableau 10 versions. So limiting the revision history and also clearing the revision history are the versions from Tableau 10. So um, in our next task we will check the revision history in Tableau. So we'll publish a workbook from desktop with the name book 1. Okay, with the name book 1 at the desktop level. Just modify the same workbook and again publish with the same name. Okay, so here we'll unhide this sheet. Right, now we'll publish this workbook under HR. So first we need to um, create a site. So HR is no more here, so we have to add a site here. Say these are all development sites. So we'll create that and keep the number of revisions to be 5 here. Create it. Okay, so on the dev site, so we have not used any space here. So now we'll publish. So first we have to select. So you need to sign in. So we have to first select the site. So the site we have selected is dev. So within dev, go to so dev is the site, and um, the user is the server administrator. So while publishing the workbook, while publishing, I will select only plot of sales and profits. Okay, I'll publish only this view and click on publish. Okay, so this is the view that I have in dev site. Okay, so uh, this is one dashboard. So I've published the workbook from the desktop with the name Solution 7 Dashboards. Okay, at the desktop level, I'll just modify the same workbook and again publish with the same name. What I'll do now is I'll unhide this. I hide this. I'll go to KPI dashboards and show. Will unhide this and I'll show this now. So under the same uh, site, I'll publish a different sheet now. So rather than the earlier view, I'm selecting the monthly retail sales view, and I'm publishing under the same name, under the same default project under site called dev. Okay, now click publish. So overwrite it. Okay, now we have two versions, one in earlier version and this is the second version. So in the server, in the content tab, so select the required workbook and select revision history. Okay, select revision history. So we have two workbooks here, two variations here. So two history workbooks. So one is the latest version, and the other this is the current version. This is the latest version. The other one is the one which we published in the first place before modification. This is after modification. Okay, we have revision history like this. So we can save up to 5 because we have defined 5 revisions. So if you have unlimited, you can have unlimited number of revisions here as a list here. Okay, so in this we'll have the revision history like this. In so in new window, this is the window that we will have. In the window that we get, Tableau will display all the older copies of the workbook in the form of a revision. So this is the revision one. So this is a older copy. To restore any revision, select the required revision and then select restore. So to restore the earlier version, select the version and then click on restore. So this will change to the earlier version. Okay, from trend, it will change it to the another version. So we'll see that. So refresh this. Now we are able to see the scatter plot rather than a trend line, right? So this is how we can use the revision history. So note that only admins can view and perform revision history or version controlling. Okay, only admins can do this. Only admins can do this. Okay. Um, Also, um, note that uh, this web authoring. Okay, web authoring allows the users to edit the workbooks at the web browser level. Okay, at the web browser level. So if we enable web authoring, so if we allow the user to use web authoring, what will does is, if we enables the web authoring, it will allow the users to edit the workbooks at the web browser level itself. If we disable web authoring, then it will not allow the users to perform web authoring. Okay. Okay. If you allow this, so we'll see what we can do. So if we allow this web authoring, go to content under default. So open the workbook. So you can edit this. So this is called web authoring. So you can change the different views. You can add filters. So for example, you can add a city filter. So this is called web authoring. So you can do few activities on the web server itself. So this is called web authoring. So if you don't give that option, so don't save it. So if you want, you can save it also. So if you in under settings, if you don't give web authoring, so you'll not be able to do that edits, web edits on the server. Okay. So web authoring feature is available in the site settings, like this. So right. See, email notification is a new feature from Tableau Server 10. So which will automatically send the emails if any schedules get failed on the content of the Tableau server. Okay. So specify the form address and message footers seen in the automatic emails for alerts and subscriptions. Okay, email from address. Okay, email footer. So if there are any subscriptions, that means at periodic times those dashboards will be sent to the end users who subscribe to those their dashboards. So email notifications will automatically send the emails if any schedules get failed, if there are any failures in schedules. So the owner of that, you can specify the email address of that owner of the workbooks, and they will be getting the failed messages on the content of the Tableau server. So they can log in and then rectify the mistakes. So you can specify the email here. Okay. Right. So yeah, there's also offline favorites for Tableau mobile. Okay, so we have seen that there is also a product called Tableau mobile. Okay, so offline, using offline favorites, so we can from Tableau server 10, in the site settings, we can enable offline favorites. So if we allow the users to view their favorite workbooks in the offline mode, it will be able to we will be able to see all these workbooks in an offline mode in the Tableau mobile app. So if we set all the workbooks if we enable offline favorites, so all the workbooks in the development site can be seen in the offline mode. So you don't have to be connected to the internet to access these workbooks. So you can log into Tableau. So you have to download Tableau mobile app on your mobile device, and then you have to log in using these credentials. Okay, user credentials, and then uh, once this enable offline favorites is enabled, clicked here, so you will be able to access. So first, going back to the content, so what we first we have to, in settings, we have to click this offline enable mode, enable offline favorites, as we have to check this, and then go to content and go to the relevant relevant dashboards, and then click on favorites here. Okay, so click to toggle favorite. So if you make relevant particular dashboards as favorites, so once you log in through a mobile app also, even when you are not logged into webs on internet, you'll be able to view these dashboards in an offline mode also. So for that purpose, you um, use this setting called offline favorites for Tableau mobile. Okay, right. Okay, so if you see content hierarchy, so content hierarchy means what is the hierarchy or the CMS hierarchy. So content management system. So if you see, if you look into content management system, content management system is nothing but the Tableau server content hierarchy. So the hierarchy is like this. So first it is server, then site, then site, then project, then workbook, then views, or data sources. So this is the content hierarchy. So the first level is the server. So this is the server level. The second level is the site. Okay. So this is the server level, and the second level is the site. These are the different sites. So second level is the site, and the third level is the project. So third level is the project here, and the fourth level is workbook. Fourth level is the workbook under projects. Okay, and in workbook we have views and also data sources. So we have also data sources. So this is the final level. So this is the content hierarchy. So this is also one of the important interview questions that you may be asked. Okay. um, okay, so now we'll go to this setting. So data driven alerts, enabling and disabling the comments are the new features from Tableau 10.2. So when data meets specified conditions, user can be notified by email. So um, by checking this, so it lets the users create alerts and receive email alerts. Okay, so first we have to check this and then give the email address here. So this will send the alerts and email alerts when some specified conditions are met. Okay, so these are the different setting options that are available in sites. So this is about different options in sites. So yesterday we have looked into installation and configurations. Today we have seen how we can create projects, content, users, groups, also sites. So tomorrow we will most probably tomorrow will be the last day for server. So um, we'll see how we can um, work with data sources scheduling, how we can schedule, how we can work with different data connections. Okay, so we'll most probably try to wrap it up. So if it in very lean, very so it's the probability is very less that, I mean, it may prolong to the day after tomorrow. So most probably it will finish by tomorrow. So we will see also security. Okay, and also the few other permissions level, how we can assign permissions in Tableau. Okay, so by doing so we will be completing the tableau tableau course. Okay, so see you tomorrow then. Any questions till now?
Okay. No.
Okay, see you, bye.
Yeah, thank you.